Welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. Oh, and I am not, hold on a second, I'm such a ding dong. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much. Where am I? Okay, here we go. Hold on one second. Give me one moment, guys. I was not prepared. Control C. Boom, let's put that down there. Control V. All right, there we go. All right, so for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much. I just put in the chat my Linktree link. That is my link to all of my social medias. It shows you where the YouTube channel is. It shows you where the Patreon page is, all of that sort of stuff. So you guys can utilize that to follow me, support me in whatever way you see fit. This is the daily, this is the monthly forecast for the sign of Scorpio. Okay, so this is for anybody with a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Scorpio, or heavily placed planets in the sign of Scorpio. That would indicate like 3 or more planets. I would maybe watch this or cross-watch this if you care about a Scorpio. It will tell you sort of kind of what might happen for you in the month of April. This is a broad spectrum reading intended to reach a lot of people, so I speak in rather broad terms. But if anything sort of makes sense and fits in your life, great, utilize it. If it doesn't, that's okay. Nothing is wrong. It just might not be your reading, or there could be, it could do to degrees of which planets are in which houses. All of that sort of stuff affects these things. So this just gives us a little insight into what kind of month Scorpio will be experiencing. Cancer has been done. Pisces will go next, and all other signs are on the Facebook business page or on the YouTube page, on the YouTube channel. Please, if you do go to watch them, hit the thumbs up button or the like button. Consider subscribing to any of the channels. Follow me, and I'm around for all sorts of stuff. I do these every month, and I do a daily forecast for all signs in the morning on the YouTube channel. All right, so let's see what's going on with Scorpio for April. Oh, and the what was I going to say? The deck that we're using as the signifier card is the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. It's a gift that was given to me by a good friend, and so I thought I would use it because the moon is so connected to water and the water signs. So I thought this would be a good deck for us to use as the signifiers for the water signs this month. So let's see which card my Scorpios get. Okay, 43. Interesting. You guys got one number off of what Cancer had. Cancer had card number 44, which I find is interesting. It's called the unexpected. It's the blue moon. Blue moon is I believe, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe a blue moon is when 2 full moons happen in 1 month. And that happened last month or like 2 months ago. We had 2 full moons in 1 month. So the second moon is considered the blue moon. That's where the phrase once in a blue moon happens. I love that these 2 sisters are here sort of looking through and gazing through to another side, to something different, something out there that maybe we weren't expecting, hence the name, The Unexpected. There could be changes coming that we didn't see coming, so be excited about that. And the excitement or new doors could be opening up for Scorpio. Let me read to you guys, because I did read Cancer's little definition. I'll read your guys's. The unexpected. No matter how well you plan, there is always room for the unexpected to occur. Build your resilience, as rare occurrences can happen. A visitor you have not seen in a long time may re-enter your life. I trust in myself and in life. In Old Farmer's Almanacs, a blue moon was described as the 3rd full moon in a season that has 4 full moons. The newer and now more accepted description is that a blue moon is when there are 2 full moons in one calendar month. Either way, it is a rare occurrence and has inspired the saying once in a blue moon, when describing an event or behavior that only happens rarely. The energy and power of the blue moon can be best taken advantage of by setting intentions on these moons of things that you really want but have never felt could happen. I refer to big wishes, the almost miracle stuff we would be both delighted and surprised about if it manifested. After setting blue moon intentions, though, don't sit there hoping it will just happen. Try to take clear, practical steps towards these big, seemingly far away intentions and help the universe along. Some of us love surprises, some of us don't. But I don't think anyone can go through life without sometimes having the unexpected happen to them. While some professions in particular, such as military and medicine, try to plan for everything that could go wrong, life sometimes finds a way to outsmart the most thorough of plans. This is simply life. Although it is important for us to know where, how, and why we are traveling down a particular path, we should always make room for and expect the unexpected. The companion stone or metal is benitoite, a very rare blue gem. All right, so let me shuffle the cards and see where we're at with this. See what Scorpio needs to know for the month of April. By the way, too, for those of you that might be watching, we do have the April deck poll up for the daily forecast on the Patreon page. So those of you that can vote, please only vote for one deck. No double voting or triple voting. If you like a particular deck, I have specific oracle decks to go with them. I will be pulling that vote soon so that I can do the unboxing, because all of these are new decks to me that have been gifts from the Amazon wish list that I'm excited to get open. So thank you to Amanda, thank you to Vicky, thank you to Mary, everybody who sent decks recently. We have plenty of new things to play with. So I've set up 3 to be chosen on the Patreon page. All right, so let's see here. So this first card is where the Scorpios are going to be centered at. It's not where you'll be the whole time, but the majority of the time you'll go in and out of this card throughout the month, but it gives me insight into not only where you're centered at, but what you could potentially be creating for the future. So this is the 9 of Wands. So this is fire energy right out of the gate, right? 9s are about personal completions or coming to an ending with things. The 9 of Wands always signifies kind of having come through a long battle or a long struggle with something. So my Scorpios could be feeling a little bit maybe tired or road weary throughout the month of April. Maybe you've been dealing with something that needs to change, something that you've been fighting against, or not fighting against, but maybe having to deal with that has caused, I don't know, pain, sadness, despair, that sort of a thing. Not that it's not manageable, right? Because we always see this in the 9 of Wands, this man's like putting the last stake in the fence, right? Setting up the last wand. To me, it's kind of like drawing that last boundary or kind of deciding that we're done with this situation or that we don't want to do this anymore. And this being the center and this idea of this blue moon card, this unexpected coming in, I would say this could indicate that something sort of that you've been dealing with for a while previous to this month is maybe indeed going to come to an end sometime during this month. The 9 of Wands being in the center gives me this indication that it will happen. You'll feel this way in and out throughout the month, but by month's end, there's probably some sort of ending happening here, right? Where we get this final like, hurrah, goodbye, I don't want to do this anymore kind of feeling from this, that thus enables us to move on to newer, better things. That might be what we see in this unexpected card, right? So be open to ideas of things that maybe felt trying, taxing, a weight on our shoulders. Somehow maybe those things might actually indeed shift for us this month. I'm not exactly sure how. We will see that hopefully in the cards. But this 9 of Swords says remain strong, keep at it. Understand that you have your strengths about you, that you've been through a whole lot worse than anything that you're going through right now. And that I feel like the universe is conspiring to open up doors or windows for you to walk through to new paths. So let's see what the foundation card is. The foundation card indicates a period from the past that opened the door for everything to be the way that it is today. It's also what everything's built upon. So the memory of this card could be driving things into the future or holding everything in place in the now. So this is the King of Swords. So I'm going to say this. Swords is air energy, and this King of Swords, I'm not mad that he's down there, but I kind of get this distinct impression this could be Scorpio kind of being right. There might have been a period where, and I don't mean that in a bad way, what I mean is I get this feeling when I look at this King of Swords that this is about Scorpio somewhere in the past having to be right, or you were right about something, some truth was told, something, some sort of clear cut. The King of Swords would indicate clear cutting, right? Like cutting of ties, black and white, analytical, non-emotional. I'm not going to get into this with you. It's that sort of feeling, or that's what I'm hearing in my head. I'm not doing this anymore, kind of thing. And so this could be the recent past for some of you. It feels like we had to take a stand, like how he's almost sticking his sword in the ground, similar to that Nine of Wands, sticking that last wand into the fence. We were more empowered back then. But in making this clear cut decision from the past, although it might have empowered us, I feel like it might have hit somewhere else. I'm not explaining this correctly. It might have hit somewhere else for my Scorpios with that Nine of Wands in the center. Does that make sense? Like, so we made the clear decision in the past, but then after having made that decision, we then had to sort of not suffer the consequences, but go through the pain of maybe the memory of the whole ordeal. Does that make sense? That's sort of the feeling that I'm getting from this King of Swords, Nine of Wands combination. The Nine of Wands would indicate that we are coming to an end with this, or we are coming to terms with this. We are sort of licking our wounds and healing ourselves up so that we can move on. And the King of Swords indicates a place of strength, truth, and honesty, which I'm not mad at him for being down here, but I feel like somewhere in that strength, truth, and honesty in the past, we maybe had to lose something because of that stance or because of that strength, truth, and honesty. Does that make sense? I feel like we had to hold true to something where we weren't able to allow emotions to get involved, or else it maybe would have messed things up or gotten in the way. And so we had to stand strong in that. And that's okay, but it wasn't like maybe our natural go-to a way of being, right? And so I feel like this King of Swords is acknowledging that. The Nine of Wands is sort of the recovery from that. And I like that the King of Swords is still there because he's still leading us to a place of more truth and honesty, right? And from a place of strength and authority. So I don't think that this is a bad thing. I just think that this might have been a hard thing for my Scorpios to do in the past. I hope that makes sense. The next card is the Spirit card, or the Higher Self card. It tells me what your higher self or spirit wants you to look at, what it wants you to focus on during the month of April. So this is the Ace of Wands, renewal of spirit. I love it. I'll take it, damn it. This being wands and being in the spirit space is beautiful, right? It's not a more perfect matchup, in my opinion. The Ace of Wands is renewal. And this is the renewal we need after this Nine of Wands that we're going throughout the month of April, right? This sort of healing of wounds, healing of old past hurts, standing true by our decisions that we've made in the past and allowing a rebirth to take place within our spirit space. The one would indicate the focus on the self, right? That's, never a bad thing when we're connecting to ourselves, but this being in the spirit space and it being the Ace of Wands, it's like this is a rebirth or a newness, something that comes out of nowhere. Again, the unexpected is here. Remember that, guys. And with the Ace of Wands, there could be a rebirth from, something that maybe was hard for us that we did, or like a decision that we made that we had to make that we thought was the best for everyone involved, and maybe others complained or whatever, or we had second thoughts around it. But to me, this Ace of Wands indicates that no, indeed, we were correct. It's okay. Allow yourself to connect to your higher self and feel the sort of the freedom, the excitement, the change, the shift, the unexpected that could be coming out of something that maybe has hung in the air for a while, right? That's that Nine of Wands, that tiredness of that Nine of Wands. We've maybe been dealing with this for a little while. I feel like it's shifting, though. It really is. I promise you that. All right, the next two cards are the outside influences. These can be people, sometimes events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us during this month. So we just need to be aware of them. Let's see what they are. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. This is major arcana. Big deal energy, right? Like it means that sort of what we focus on is what we're going to get. And things are shifting. It's interesting that we have this wheel here and we have this spinning open circle here in the unexpected blue moon, right? Doors are opening for us, Scorpio. We may not even realize it. With the Wheel of Fortune, to me, the Wheel of Fortune, even though it's an exciting card and it's a time of opportunity, it also can be a slow moving time, right? Where things might not feel like they're moving as quickly as we would like or in the direction that we thought. But I think that there's a patience that I feel like that's here with that Nine of Wands and that King of Swords, that as we allow things to unfold, things will start to make more and more sense with this Wheel of Fortune as the outside influence. We've just got to let those doors open, right? And that's this unexpected blue moon card. It's like, let the doors open, just take care of you, nurture your spirit, know your truth, like sort of understand the kind of things that you've been through and why. That would be that Nine of Wands energy, right? With the struggles that you've been through, they've made you who you are today. Don't regret them. Don't neglect them. Don't pass over them. Sort of sit with them, feel them, be honest with them, and allow this sort of rebirthing to happen at the spirit space, because new doors are opening through that Wheel of Fortune all around you, in your environment, through experiences and opportunities that might be coming to you. I kind of get a feeling with that Nine of Wands in the center that these opportunities could be showing themselves more clearly further down the line in April, right? We may not see them right away. They might start out as small things and then the wheel spins a little bit more and they open up into bigger and bigger. It could be new relations. It could be new, opportunities, all of that sort of stuff. That's kind of how the wheel to me works in my mind, is it sort of, it begins to shift and open, and then it wants to open in our favor, but we also have to be in favor of it opening, right? We have to be looking at the things that are working versus the things that aren't, for it to really show us what we need. I hope that makes sense. All right, so, and then the next outside influence. Okay, wow. Another major arcana. So this is a significant month for my Scorpios. This is the Justice card. This is the sign of Libra, which this is all about sort of maintaining balance, but this is also about truth. Okay, and we see truth also in this King of Swords in the foundation. What I mean by truth in reference to the Justice card is justice is always sort of represents like something's going to come out, some sort of truth will come out, some sort of validation, some sort of honor, something that maybe we have not received yet is coming to us. Sometimes the justice can be at our own expense, and sometimes it's at the expense of others, right? But it's always fair and just, right? I don't feel like this is at Scorpio's expense because of that King of Swords at the bottom of this foundation. Whatever you did in the past, that King of Swords indicates, although it may not have been easy for you, you did it for the best of intentions and from the truth of what you knew at the time. So you have to take that and like, what's the word? Like, you're built upon that truth, right? So even if things don't feel so easy right now with that Nine of Wands in the center, things are shifting, things are changing, things are moving in the direction towards truth, justice, honesty, and new opportunities for you. Hold tight, Scorpio. That's this unexpected blue moon doorway that's opening up for them to walk through. That's the rebirth of the Ace of Swords in the spirit space, where we feel rejuvenated, alive again, capable of accomplishing more, right? We can do all of that. These big powers on either side of us, justice and the wheel, are like, okay, we're going to show you who you are and who's around you. We're going to show you what works for you and what doesn't. But you also have to live in that truth, right? You have to make those clear-cut decisions. Yet again, that's why we see this King of Swords in the foundation. We may have to sort of continue to sort of move towards the opportunities and away from sort of the lies. The justice doesn't necessarily indicate lies and deceit, but it will indicate truths, right? And from truths, we can discover what are necessarily untruths, right? And so it brings things back into balance. Whatever has been going on and whatever Scorpio has been dealing with, these two major arcana cards on either side of you as outside influences want to put you back on the path, so to speak, and in a very big, strong, solid way. That Ace of Wands, that to me also speaks to this rebirth of spirit. It's going to feel new, maybe a little bit scary. I don't want to say scary, but like because of its newness, it might feel like, oh my God, who am I, right? go with it, Scorpio. Enjoy it. Like, have fun with it, right? There's like a excitement up there in that top card that I feel like is a newness of maybe a new way of seeing the world, right? Because justice brings us the truth about the world around us, and the wheel opens up new opportunities within our world that weren't necessarily there, you know, maybe a few months ago. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, so the next card is what I call the potential outcomes card. This card tells me a bit about sort of where things could end up for the Scorpios at the end of the month. This card is not set in stone, though, by any means. It is open to change. If it's a negative card and we don't like it, we can use our own free will to make choices and changes to affect the outcome, right? But if it is a card that we do like, we can take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards it. Okay, so let's see what that is. So this is another major arcana. Interesting. It's the Hanged Man. So this is Piscean energy, right? Justice is Libra energy. I can't remember what the Wheel of Fortune is. It might be a planet. It may be Saturn. I can't remember. But this is Piscean energy, which is not a bad energy for Scorpio to be ending up on. But the Hanged Man to me is a little bit stuck, right? The Hanged Man is about kind of sort of waiting around for the spiritual intuitive hit to come before we take action. Right? And that might be exactly what Scorpio needs because justice is coming in and the wheel moves so slowly. Does that make sense, guys? So even though, like, I wouldn't expect to see great, big, massive changes by the month of April, right? But I would expect the way that these cards look to me, the way that I'm sensing them or feeling them, it says that big, massive changes are happening around you. By month's end, that Hanged Man says that you might be posed with some decisions that need to be made about some of these new opportunities that have come to you, these new truths that have come to you. These truths could be, you know, important, or these opportunities could have such an importance that you're afraid to make a decision a little bit. That could be that Hanged Man energy where you're like, is this really the right thing? Am I sure? Am I sure? The King of Swords indicates that you do have a clear mind, or you have at least in the past, and you can make these decisions honestly and clearly and analytically. But this Hanged Man energy is more watery. It is Pisces energy. So it's more emotional and it's more in line with Scorpio's natural state, right? Because we have the Ace of Wands in the spirit space, it's like a rebirth of, you know, feeling new in the spirit. So we might not necessarily feel self-assured in making these decisions right out of the gate. The beauty about the Hanged Man is that there's always illumination that comes from him, right? There's always a spiritual understanding and an awareness that we learn through hanging there long enough that we finally realize, oh, that's it, or oh, I can do that. And then we unhang ourselves, right? We climb ourselves down out of the tree or off the curtains in this case with this card. So I think that the information is coming to us this month. The opportunities are also coming to us, albeit a little bit on the slow side. But if we're patient, and that's also very much a Hanged Man thing too, is about the illumination that comes through acts of patience and waiting, right? So we don't necessarily need to force things along, is my feeling with these cards. We don't need to force anybody to our will or to our understanding. We don't need anything to change for us. We need to allow almost our environment, right? This Wheel of Fortune, this Justice card, these things to kind of indicate to us what our next move is, and just enjoy the beauty of that sort of Ace of Wands that's sort of brewing inside of us. Does that make sense? The Nine of Wands in that center says to me, you know, also finding some gratitude for the journey that you've been on, even if it's been hard, would also not hurt or harm anything in this deal. It might actually serve you in some way, shape, or form. So that is your forecast for the month of April. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that it makes sense. Please leave me a thumbs up if you like this. Feel free to follow me on all of my socials. You can use the Linktree link to find me that I put in the chat. And I look forward to seeing you guys next month. You can also tune in every day on the YouTube channel for the daily forecast. And we do charm nights on Sundays, which is tonight. I should be doing a live charming later. And Pisces will be up next in a little bit. I'm going to take a small break feed my dogs and do all of that. And then I'll get the Pisces reading out and then do the charmings. All right, you guys, I hope you have a great April and take care. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.